Hello everybody, my name is Putmog and welcome to part 2 of the rope tutorial for Amnesia, the Dark Descent level editor. In this tutorial, I'm going to attach an object to the rope and we are going to use that bucket, the object, to fill it and pick it up. So I have a map here that I designed. It vaguely, actually pretty closely resembles um, the prison level of Amnesia, the Dark Descent. Um, that's not important. I have mapped out a little rope section here. I have a crank, and I have a pulley system, and I have 3 ropes. So let's just quickly check those out. I have rope here, and that rope. Oh, hang on. There we go. Attaches to this rope, and it's held by this pulley. This rope attaches to this position node and is held on by this. And then finally, this rope attaches to this position node, which is inside this box. And this box is actually the mass that holds up this rope. So if I go here, you'll see that the invisible box mass, this object right here, is actually the end body for this rope. Now, this tutorial is going to be pretty script heavy because there's no way to do this without scripting. So I developed my scene. I have a well here, and there's several areas here. There's one area, the most important area, the interact rope area, and then there is this area down here, this one, which is the bottom of the well, which is where the water plane right here. Let me see if I can get closer to it. This water plane is where the area is resting on. So the idea here is this area is not needed for what we're doing in this tutorial. It's just something extra I added in. The idea here is that we're gonna pick up a bucket. This bucket, we're going to use that bucket on this area, and it's going to attach to the rope when the rope is in position to be attached. So when the rope is above the well, it's not inside of it, and there's nothing on it, we can put our bucket on the rope and it will go down. And when we use this crank, that means that it's gonna pull the rope down. It's gonna hit this bottom of the water. The bucket's gonna collide with this area, and it's gonna fill up. And then we can pull it back up, and we can retrieve the bucket. That's what we're doing. We're getting an empty bucket. We're putting it on the rope. We're filling it up at the bottom, and then we're pulling it up and taking it. And it's actually not as complicated as you might expect it. So what we're gonna do is, first you want to create an area. I'm highlighting it right now, and it's gonna set to item interaction, and we're gonna call it the interact rope area, or area interact rope. And I'm gonna go into the script now. And there's a lot of stuff here, but it's not all needed. These functions here aren't necessary. And as you can see here, we have a collide callback with the interact rope, and we have a use item callback with the area. So this use item callback will allow us to use the bucket on the rope, and the collide callback will allow the box, this box, to collide with this area. And it's important because what we want to do is we can go see this function I highlighted right here, check rope position. It's going to go to this function right here, check rope position. And let me see if I can bring it up a little closer. Here we go. This is a collide callback function, and this all state refers to whether or not the rope, whether or not our box is in the area. So 1 is enter, 1 is it's inside the area, 0 or -1 means it's outside or leaving the area. So we only want to be able to manipulate our rope, our bucket, when the rope is inside of this area, when the rope is above the well here. So this function allows us to specify whether or not it's in position to be manipulated. So that's right here. The use item callback. So now our thing is in position. We go to we actually use the item on the area. So we go to this function, use bucket on the rope, and I'm going to move this function up actually because I think it's in a bad spot. Here we go. So I'm going to move this function here, and this is what happens when the bucket is on the rope. I have a test here to make sure that we're actually using the bucket on the area and nothing else is being used. This isn't going to be useful now, but it might be useful if you have another object that can be interacted with it and you want to say, no, don't use that object, use something else. It's a good feedback system for the player. Now, we check to see if the rope is in position to be used, if the rope is inside this area. That's what this is doing. If our rope is in the area, see, we assign it here. We assign the variable rope in area here. So we're going to know if it's not inside the area, then do not place the rope. Do not place the bucket on the rope. This message is if you specify the rope is too low. So I didn't put that there, but I highly recommend you use that to give some feedback to the player so he knows what's going on. Once we check to see, as long as we're using the bucket on the rope and the rope is inside the allowable area, then we can attach a bucket to the rope. And this is very important. We need to make sure that this box is the end mass that this rope is manipulating. So this rope is attached to this box. So if this box moves, that rope follows it. The box, the invisible box, has physical properties. The bucket will not. The bucket will take the physical properties from the box. So we're going to attach the bucket to the box, and this is the name of the entity that we're going to be attaching. This is the name, this is its actual file, the entity file, so this is what it knows what it looks like. And these are parameters stating the offset from the object we're attaching to. We don't need to do anything with these, so we'll just keep these at 0. We're going to add the bucket. We're going to remove the item from our inventory, and we're going to tell the game that a bucket is on the rope. So we initialize this variable to 1 now. We assign it to 1. So now that the bucket is on the rope, we're going to handle what happens when we use this crank to move the rope down into the bottom of the well. So we're going to move this rope down here. It's going to collide with this area, and we're going to know that it hits the bottom of the well because it's in this area. So we are going to state, we're going to check to see if the bucket is on the rope. I should state that we have a collide callback here. The bottom of the well with the box, so the box hits the bottom of the well. That's how we get this function. That's how this function knows when to call. And we're going to call this function. In fact, I'm going to change this callback real quick, and I'm going to make this 1. So on the when it enters it, not when it leaves it, we're going to call this. So we enter the bottom of the well. We check to see if it's on the rope. If nothing is on the rope, in return we do nothing. No matter what, we're going to play the sound of a splash. And So let's just play a sound effect, splash sound effect. We are going to now check to see if our bucket is filled, and right now our bucket is empty, so it should be 0. It should not equal 1. So we're going to remove the empty wooden bucket from the rope. We're going to remove it from the box. We're going to put a new bucket on the box. We're going to put a filled bucket on the box. So you use this add attach prop to prop. We also have to set this area. We have to set this area to be false. I mean to not exist anymore. So we make that area disappear. And this is because if we don't do this, then when the box comes up, we can't interact with it. So we have to remove that. The last thing we need to do is tell the game that the bucket is filled. Then we can create a custom crosshair so that when we interact with the box, we have a pick icon, and it'll look like we're picking up an item. So we're kind of faking picking up an item here, and create an interact callback. So the player will interact with the box, and it's going to call this function, pick up filled bucket. And then we're going to make sure this is true, because this means that when we use this, the callback disappears after that. We don't use it anymore. So now that we've picked up the bucket is no longer on the rope, and it's no longer filled. And this is because we're going to remove the bucket from the box. We're going to play a sound. So we're removing from the box. We're going to play the sound of a pickup item. We're going to give the player the bucket item, and then we're going to tell him that he picked up the bucket. If we don't set the message to say pick up the bucket, the player is never going to know that he picked it up. So this is giving feedback to the player, which is very important that they know what they're doing. Included in this file, there's also a script here. This is if the player falls in the well. This is this area. This will kill him, and this is needed, otherwise he'll hit the bottom and be stuck. So we need to make sure that the player dies when he hits the ground, but it is not important for the purposes of the tutorial. As always, we make sure that the crank is attached to the rope so that the ropes will move with the crank. And that is all we have to do. I have a summary of what we did up here in the script file available for download along with the map. So let us go in the game and test out this script. Okay, I'm now in the game. So here I have my little scene, kind of detailed. I kind of went crazy yesterday. So I have my well, and a rope is at the bottom of the well, you can see. Now I already have inside my inventory the wooden bucket. As you can see, I click it, and on the bottom left of the screen you can see my debug messages. The rope is outside the area. No interaction will occur, so this is good. The rope is too low. So let's go use... Here's my rope, by the way, in case you're interested in seeing it. So let us turn the wheel. As you can see, the rope is moving, contracting, and now it's coming up. Our rope is now inside of our area. Let us attach the bucket to the rope. You can see we have the bucket on. Now, let us just going to move this bucket into the well. As you can see, it's no longer in my inventory. And that splash means we've done what we had to do. And our bucket is now ready to pick up. We now have our bucket, and we cannot use it on the rope anymore. That is how we use our rope to extend our bucket into the water and get a filled bucket. I hope this tutorial was useful. I know this could be used for a lot of different puzzles, not only a bucket into the well. This is just an example. Maybe I can think of some ideas and provide some help. I hope this was useful. Please leave any comments if this was unclear and needs any clarification. I'll be glad to assist, and example files and script will be available for download in the description. Thank you for watching. I hope this was useful. Take care.